Hari Om, Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome back to our coding class. Today we'll be learning a loop called for loop. Today class is on for loop. So we have learned many loops till here, right? So repeat loop, nested repeat loop, if else condition, while loop, until loop. So today we are learning with for loop, FOR loop, for loop. So very powerful loop which you can see. Because why is it so powerful? Because every loop has only one condition, right? So when you say while loop, what is while loop? Where you'll say that until you reach a goal, keep on repeating it. So that is your while loop. So you have one condition with. If you say if else condition, so if it is right, do this or else do this. That is how you work with if else condition. Repeat is how many ever times you say it keeps on repeating. But for your while loop, you have three conditions, three parts in your for loop. What are the three parts? Start, end, counter. What is it? Start, end, counter. Okay. Let's go on with an presentation of it for better understanding with that. For loop. So what is a for loop? With a small example we'll be seeing up. So what is a for loop? As I said, it's nothing but an interval changes. So here there's a person guy who has to paint the ladder. So he wants to paint the ladder with an interval of 2 steps. Oh, sorry. So now if he has to paint an ladder with the 2 steps, how is he going to paint it? He has to work on that, right? So how he can work on that? So using a for loop, he'll be able to do the painting of the ladder with an interval of 1. I mean, each step he has to leave it and paint the next level. So when you have to say him, you'll say paint the first step, then paint the third, fifth, eighth. Say if he has many steps, so it will be difficult. So what do you use? Use I for 1 starting to 12 steps and count by 12 always. So what do you do? He knows now it has to be done with respect to the interval of 2 each time. So he knows he has to start with the first step till the 12th step. He has to increase to 2 steps. So first is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So he'll paint the third one. 3 plus 2 is 5. So he'll paint the fifth one. 5 plus 2 is what? 7. So he'll paint the seventh one. He goes still like that until the last one, that is the number 12. That is how the for loop does. So here, as you can see, he's painting 7, 9, 11. So after 11, 13 is not there, so he stops over there. So that is what is the for loop. To come, we will see how you can do it with the activities with respect to the for loop. So it's a very fun activities which we have with the for loop. For after learning for loop, you would prefer that none of your loops is so much powerful or very interesting other than for loops. They're so powerful and easy to understand. And even it makes your code very smaller also. So yes, last class you would have worked with the variables with the help of B. Now we will see with the B how you can use the for loops. Okay, so here they are saying collect the nectar for each flower using the fewest block possible. So what do? I know this is simple coding. I say that move forward I say get nectar, so since it is repeating, so I would say that I can use a normal repeat option. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I say 5. This is a normal thing which you use for repeat option. Right? So this is a normal one. Next one. By this, you would understand what is the difference between for loop and repeat loop. So the same thing. It was in an horizontal way. Now it is in a vertical way. There's no other change. So what do I say? Set counter to. Starting, he has to start with a zeroth number. I'll just give it as sorry. Yeah. And you can observe here we are starting with the first one. So since he has to collect one number from the first part, next it is 2, 3, 4, 5. So he has to increase. So I have to take and how many times I have to repeat? I will have to repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I say it is repeating for 5. So move forward, repeat 4 times. What happens first time it is 1. So it is getting nectar by 1. Next time when he has to move forward, he has to get 2. So that means each time it is increasing by 1. So I will have to say get changed by not 1. Sorry, I'll have to take this. What is this? Instead of 1 over here, I will have to put it as counter. Why is it counter? I'll tell you. See now what happens in the starting, it is 1. So next time when it goes here, counter is 1, it will become 1 plus 1. Next time it is 2, right? So the counter will become 2. So it will be 2 plus 1. So if I say just change counter by 1, each time it will be changing by 1, 1, 1. Again 1, 1, 1 will be there. But I don't want that. It has to increase by 1 every time. So I say run now. Hmm. There's a problem here. Because I'm just using 5 times, repeat 5 times. It's not working on that. Let's save the 10 times. Mm-hmm. Something problem over here. Change counter. Oh, okay, okay. Let me change it by 1. Hmm. Counter is 1 and repeat for 2 times. 1 second. Got stuck 1 minute. It is back. I'm just resharing it. So we were doing with this change of counter by 1 each time. So that was not working for us, right? So we'll just change it to 5 again over here. and see one. Now, well done. It's working for us. So what has happened? I'll tell you why it was a mistake, because when I say counter plus one, as I said, we are increasing it. But move forward, when we use it, it is just going on repeating over here again and again. So that was not happening. So it has to be changed counter by one. So that would be helping. Let's explore some more of the thing of your for loop. What happened? There is a new way to write the same code. Okay. This is another way. So last activity we had seen with how you have done. The same code over here is in below. Repeat for 5 times, move forward and do it. The same thing, you can, instead of repeat and counter and everything, you can use your for loop, which is very easy for you. So what is happening? You're starting from the first flower till there are 5 flowers. You're increasing by one for it. So move forward, counter. What is the counter you do and get it. So I'll show you how step by step is working. The first time is it. This is the start. So as I said, for loop has 3 parts: start, end, and change intervals. So start is one. So what he do? He moves forward by one step. Sorry, he moves forward by one step. Then he repeats until the counter time. Since the counter is one time, so he gets nectar for one time. Next time, what happens? He increases the one by one. So it will become two now. So he one step he moves forward, then repeat the counter. Since it is 2 times, the next flower is collecting 2 nectars. Next time it would be 3, is collecting 3 nectars, and then 4 and 5. Once he reaches 5, the next thing when it has to become 6, it comes and sees, okay, the end is 5, so we'll have to end it, so it will not work. Now done. Yes, better more easy. For loop. See how it would be tough with repeat and repeat. That's so easy with a for loop. That is what I said. With a for loop, it's more easier for us to work on. There's a small video. Once I guess you'll not be able to hear the voice. Reshare it with this sound.
So when you use a repeat block to loop your code, how does the computer know when it's repeated enough times? The repeat block is actually hiding a more sophisticated piece of code called a for loop, which counts from a starting value up to an ending value by a specific increment. So for example, a repeat 3 block counts from 1 to 3 by 1, and every time it counts, it runs.
This is what even the repeat block do. It starts with a 1, 0 plus 1 is 1. The next 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. That is how even your for loop works.
The code inside the loop. The for loop knows how many times it has run by using a counter variable that is set to the starting value at the beginning of the loop and has the increment added to it each time the loop is run. As soon as the counter variable is greater than the ending value, the loop stops running. So the benefit of using a real for loop instead of the repeat block is that you can actually see the counter variable and use it in your loop. So for example, if I have a series of flowers and the first one has 1 nectar, the second one has 2 nectars, and the third one has 3, I can use the for loop to tell the bee to collect counter nectars each time, which would collect 1 at the first flower, 2 at the second, and 3 at the third. Also, in a for loop, you can increment the counter by a number other than 1 each time. You can potentially count by 2s, 4s, or even an amount that changes every time through.
So that is an example of your for loop, how the for loop works. So I would like to be shared without sound of the system because completion of it gives a lot of sound. Actually. So the next one, production. Okay, let's not go to the production. We would go to the skill building where we use our for loop. All right. So this was already done. Let's not go into the production. And I hope all the activities have been understanding for you. So yes, over here it's the same thing. So let's use our for loop now. So using our for counter, as you are aware, it has to start with the first class. How many class are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have to say it is 7. And each time it has to increase by 1. First thing is he has to move forward. And then he has to repeat it for counter blocks. Once he repeats for counter blocks, what he has to take inside it is get the nectar. Now run and say, got it? So here you can see the bee is collecting the flower nectars according to the count. So how, till 7 as I stated, so it ends by 7. Start from 1 and ends by 7. Right. This is another way around. So you may think that for loop is used only for the increment. No, the for loop can be used even for the decrement of this. Now you can see the B is facing with the number 5, but he has to come down to the 1. So in such case, how do you use it? Again, go to your loops and take your for counter. And instead of here, the start should be your 5 and your end should be your 1 because it is starting from the 5 number and the 1. But instead of counting by 1, it should be minus 1 because each time you're decreasing by 1. So now you say as move forward and say repeat for counter times. And it is get the next. You can see 5, 4, 3. So that is nothing but each time it is decreasing by 1. First time it is getting the 5 nectar, then it becomes minus 1, so it should be 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. The next thing it gets 4, 3, 2, 1. Once it reaches 1, it ends your for. So this would be your last activity of the number 8. We will end it with the last activity of number 8. And then I would be presenting up with the project video. Okay. So in this, as you can see here, the numbers are different. It's not with a continuous number. You have 1, 3, 5, 7. So when I observe it, I have to think that each number is skipping one number in the center. So that means it is an odd numbers. When you can see, if you have to count something odd numbers, this is the numbers which you start. 1 to 7 is 1, 3, 5, 7. So from here, what you learn? You learn that you use your for loop even to count your odd numbers and even numbers. You can count with your for loops. Now let's go into this. How do I work? I say a for loop. So it starts from 1 and it ends by 7. And each time, remember, it's not increasing by 1, it is increasing by 2. Because 1 plus 2 is 3. Now next, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Right? So that is how you get it. Move forward. And with the loops, I say repeat for the counter times. And I get the next. The first time it is 1, then 3, 5, and then 7. Right? I hope everyone has understood the for loop now. It's very easy and interesting loop it is. I'm presenting my screen for the project now. So today's class project is only one lesson, that is lesson number 28 with the artist. for loop with the artist. So 27 was the activity which was done, for loop with the B. 28 is for the for loop with the artist. So kindly go to your express code link and then complete your project. I hope the for loop was very interesting for you, understandable to just repeat it. For loop where it has three conditions, the start, end, and increment or decrement. The start and end, it depends on what is the count you want to change it. And the third one is your increment or decrement, which is called as intervals. So that depends on your start and end, how you're using. Right? Hope everyone has understood what is a for loop, and please work on the activities to get better hands on the loop. Right? So ending the class over here. See you in the next class. Bye.